type of channeling that happens for me is my decision to always allow an openness to Source's love, and what that means in terms of an inspiring, uplifting, nurturing hand in every situation of my life. I have always intended and done my best and failed miserably, sometimes for significant cranky phases, but still intending and mostly succeeding in being a happy human being as I carry out the will of Source, of what you would call, in many cases, the word that is short, it only has 3 letters. What if we don't give that a name and we simply just say, if one believes that the empty space of allowing can lead to a conversation within one's mind with the Source as part of the Source, hand in hand, telling a story of truth, not just stepping out and allowing it in. It's a different thing. And everything that I've learned to be able to understand what Source is saying to me took years and years and years of studying, of learning and retraining my mind to realize that it is not entirely trained. And sometimes it will have long stretches of clear thought and good life, and good choices and uplifting ways that lead to abundance and the experience of a miraculous way of life that costs virtually nothing and gives freedom through a lack of tremendous burden and an abundance, a forethought garden that is planted. If you think about your skill set and your passion, your areas of expertise and hunger for knowledge, your desire to know the truth, because as you explore the truth about that area that you're quite knowledgeable in and have skills in, as you invest in that, the feeling you get is Source speaking with you in conversation, because you're making sense of the world, because you're hearing the words within your own mind, because the words of love are the words of God. It's congruent. There is no crankiness in heaven. And so when we find ourselves cranky, if we choose to go back into heaven, into heaven's realm, into earshot at least of the distant song in the wind, as you hunker down in the storm of your life from time to time, may you always still hear the voices singing to you from the angelic realm, leading you in the direction of the feeling. As you choose love, you choose the angel's will, because that is one and the same. They call you. And if you choose to be hearing the call through listening for, in an emotional vibration that is congruent with that which you wish to experience, you will be in the vicinity of hearing those thoughts, that wisdom within you. It is part of you, but it is also an extension beyond you. And it is a wisdom beyond your years, because you are beyond your years. As a multi-dimensional being, yes, I said it, a multi-dimensional being, we all, every last one of us, are stemming from the same energy, because there is only one. There's only one origin. And we can feel into the truth of that, which means that each on our own would find that conclusion true. Without guidance, structure, culture, or dogma, anyone, anywhere, any being on any world will realize that love is the point, because of how it makes us feel. Because when we feel into love, we feel into God's house. We feel our way into the realm where we are nurtured, and we are taught, and we teach, and we give, and we take, and we are uplifted by more beings than we can even imagine, from more places than we can imagine, in more forms than the human brain is capable of neurologically representing. You don't have enough neurons to represent the stars. So therefore, one must trust that when you are feeling the emotional vibration, the feeling of joyful love and homeness and welcoming and unity and oneness, everything is all right. It actually is. The war is over in your heart in that moment, because you surrendered to forgiveness, which allowed, through the process of apology and forgiveness and recognition and learning of that which is not to be repeated, so that we can see what we do wish to repeat. Our imaginings occur based on an emotional feeling that we elaborate on. They asked me to say a word that my tongue isn't ready to say. It's funny. It doesn't feel like it's, they're saying it to me, it's us saying it together. That's what it feels like. Because I'm there. It's my thought, but it's not just my thought, because I alone wouldn't be able to think a thought like that. You know what I mean? It's the knowledge that I'm learning in the moment as the words are coming is me saying, oh, do you mean this? And the universe says, or the source, the mind, the truth, the loving vibration leads to a dream that unfolds with another being that is part of me, and sometimes feels like part of my family, sometimes feels like my parent, sometimes feels like my child. My love for the universe is that grand that it transcends all contexts and applies in all situations. There is nothing that love cannot shine upon. In the places where we would not dare shine love, we must shine love. And in the moments of darkest pain, anguish, isolation, fury, resentment, we must breathe our way into a surrender of not knowing everything, not having the answers, giving up into the surrender of not creating thought, but listening for thought, based on a choice to release one's burden. One's suffering must be released prior to the allowance of a mood that allows you to channel your higher self. You have to let it go. It will come back. The burden will, they keep putting bricks in your backpack, and you must keep taking them out. The wing loading is too high when you carry self-anger and painful terror. There's nothing that we can do. That we can't save ourselves, and it's not what we want, and we can't control it because others are controlling our lives in our mind. We believe that in that moment, and we choose to stick our own heads into the deep, dark well. We look further into the darkness to prove that there is no light. To prove that we're alone and separate and on our own 2 feet in separate world of reality. I'm alive. I can get hurt. I can die. I'm gonna die. Everyone I know is gonna die. They're all gonna be in pain and have things that disappoint them deeply and have their hearts broken again and again and again, and a surrender that comes again and again and again to stop being in pain, to start hoping that love can exist again, and then the remembering that love never died. You just turned away from it and stuck your head into the dark well and said, "Wow, it's dark down here." I don't believe. When I fear, and I believe that it is my fear, and I believe that I can't quite control it, and I believe that it could go horribly if my fear came at the wrong time and in the wrong way. We all have a temper, don't we? And we all have a terrified child in us. And we also have the other parts of us. And when we recognize that everyone has all of these things, it's just that some people have been spending more time in one of those than the others. And you forgive them for that because you were doing probably the same thing in a different way. In the many aspects of the personality that we have, the joyful version of you is not always in the driver's seat. When it's just a parent driving a car away from a tornado with kids in the back, you don't have a sense of humor. Forgive yourself for not having a sense of humor, for not being ready to talk about spirituality, not being ready to talk about cheer up. Tell me what's next. What do you see? Give me information. I am the pilot. Give me the intel. Give me the numbers. Give me the variables that I didn't notice. And don't get in my way. And let me fly this airplane. Let me drive this car. We each have that. And yes, we each get to be the navigator, and we each get to be the passenger in the back. having your own experience. And it's all part of being human. It's all part of the learning that is the journey of being. The path to learning a way that makes it easier for you to have more moments that lead to that feeling. That lively feeling. When you land from a jump, unless you had a crappy landing, or like a really crappy landing, you're laughing. You're happy. Most of the time, skydivers land in a joyful state. And most of the time when they were doing it, they were in a pretty joyful state. Kind of the whole time. Not all the time. Sometimes you got something that needs handling. You gotta steer your way, think your way, change your way through a complex situation where something's in your way. You gotta turn. And you gotta keep flying the airplane back to a stable, open space. Safe situation where you are now allowed to be playful again. The whole point of recovery is so that you can get your aircraft under control and enjoy flying again. That's how you become a good pilot, is you enjoy flying the airplane. You play with your flight controls, right? And you don't just do it in nervous, whoa, what does that do? You flow with it and really become like an ice skater on ice, really in command of what occurs. And that feels very empowering. And I think many of us got that realization on bicycles, and roller skates when we were young, cars. Some of them got to control skis, and some of them got to fly planes. I love the stories of young people who began flying airplanes as relatively young teens, legally. Sometimes not completely legally. And they got flight controls, and they got that experience in a formative time when their neurological structure, their understanding of the world, was in flux and formative. Not quite solidified in terms of its expansion into complexity as it is in this growth phase. Many things can occur that lead to new branches of expanded possibility that can be quite good. And we find that many people are capable of throwing a basketball even into a hoop, not just near a hoop, with practice. We all, almost all, can do that. But not everybody is one of the greats, and that's fine. It's fine that we're not. However, we do have the experience in some lifetimes of finding something when we're young and becoming good at it. And those who have, those who are naturally gifted and naturally nurtured through an environment where the parents and the teachers and the guides and the coaches nurtured the talent, where there is actually quite an amazing human being being formed, and it's a gift to the world. Every great human that does great things is worth their footprints in the sand and the process that got them there. And the resources put towards the betterment of humanity, simply because the choice was made. to nurture the gift. And I think that everyone has these gifts in their ways. And if you look back on your own joys, your things that you really found to be experientially redeeming, when you felt most happy, what were you doing? When you were young and growing and open to love's energy, the vibrational energy flows into a human being in perfect form, without sin. We need to stop saying that untruth. We are not born with sin and need redeeming. We never were. Where was it said that such a thing would be possible in a universe that is literally made from love? Because the source vibration that creates the miracle of life is the spark of love. So therefore, as a child is born, it is perfect. You were perfect and still are. Where did you come from? Where are you going? Where you been going? Where do you want to go? Make your solar flare out of Source's sun curve back into itself. Make your destiny to go home through the choice that feeling is your home. And no other enticement of ego and fear can ever dissuade you from choosing to look in that direction, to feel into that direction, to create in that direction, to connect in that direction, to manifest in that direction. When we build a skydiving formation and create this organic crystalline structure that we preconceived, even drew on whiteboards and whatnot, we release the grip sometimes. We are one formation. As we say in aviation terms, we know our rates. And when you realize that you are motionless relative to other structures, be it another spacecraft or another person or a whole bunch of other people, once you release the grip, you let the grip dissolve. That is my chosen relationship. When I feel completely saturated into the illusion of separation in a moment, for whatever reason, I choose to live. We choose to live because we choose the lively spark.
Take the I-95 South ramp, then slide right onto the I-95 South ramp.
We choose the quantum connection of emotional, vibrational awareness of being. Awareness that you are being that vibration. You are not only feeling that vibration, you are one and the same. When a tuning fork is rung, and others ring because of it, is it not the same song shared by all? Is it not the same song that is sung when someone feels love? Are we not all in love together? This is the greatness of what we call God. That the vibration of joy does not merely resonate within a time-space location. It is an intention to feel this good that allows an awareness point called you. You can make a choice. This feeling is going to guide you. It's going to be your light in the darkness. If something doesn't feel like this, smell like this, taste like this, sound like this, seek elsewhere. Seek improvement. Seek the opportunities for change within this system that they're in. And the creation of systems that are of better design and healthier relationship as we nurture our reality in every way, in every channel. I was given an image just now of a bicycle that had 2 gears. One of those gears was the one where you pedal fast, and the other one was when you pedal slowly. And the image was relating to the different relationship cooperation levels of the people you get along with really well and the people you get by with. And some of those people you work with and you get by with, and that's the best that relationship is likely to become. And it is what it is. But it's also part of the process, of keeping this world moving forward in a way that keeps humanity and Earth, the planet, alive. Is that not our job on the stage of the universe? It's a being that is doing something worth doing. Because that's what Source wants. That's what Source does. Source is loving life. Source is life. It's spirited. It has a wonderful sense of humor if you're willing to listen that direction. Can you have open enough ears to hear God's sense of humor? Because the tickle of life feels wonderful. The home base of us all is the ever-ringing bell of joy. And if you have the ears to hear and the eyes to see, right now, in this moment, you can release the content of mind and listen and follow and join the conversation with Source Creator. Your personal conversation is waiting for you, and you deserve it. Because the Source does not judge. The Source does not punish. The Source does not hate. Wipe out those thoughts that were handed to us through the untruths that we were repeatedly exposed to in a training program to keep a mind from realizing its truth, to separate one from Source through a lure of lowliness of the human soul. And the path to redemption being subject to words, rituals, cultures, and experiences of a physical nature. We were forced to sip an ocean through a straw. A straw of minute proportions because there was no freedom to allow ourselves to feel that we were part of Source, worthy of Source. And we can feel sad about that if we choose. And if we felt sad enough long enough and done our appropriate mourning, we must forgive and release and allow ourselves to move up, back in, to the expectation that comes from the feeling of Source being, the vibration that rings in your heart. You did not need to make the tuning fork. Source made that. You just live here. You were born into this beautiful body that Source helped to create with the help of your parents and doctors and nurses, loving nurses and doulas and medicine women brought humans into this world for thousands of generations, being the ameliorators of suffering in an entrance into this world, so that you remember your connection, you feel your connection. That even when your suffering causes your grip upon the tuning fork of your heart to be so tight that you stop its vibration, if you let it be, and you stop holding it, you allow God to vibrate your heart, you realize that you never left home. Because God is everything. God is in everything. There's nothing that is not the all that is all. And it has a voice. But as far as the words, our language are not capable. All of our languages combined are not capable of fully expressing what Source is. Because it is the all. It's not like the everything in your neighborhood. This is talking about like the all that is all, right? The whole earth. Every single species. Let's not get involved with all the other planets. This one planet, we have so many species that it's unimaginable. It's a gift to the universe. This garden of possibility of what life could do. The wondrous diversity of life on this planet is beyond the imagination. And the feeling we have in that fascination of its beauty is the beginning of the thoughts and the topics that allow that vibration to occur within your heart once again. And that tuning fork begins to move because what you are allowing into the eyes, the windows, to the soul, and the way in which the light gets in, and the sound through the ears is the way in which the words and song and the tone of Source to be heard and felt. It's a different experience. A light-based experience is visual. It is taken in through the perception of mind and filtered then into the body, which changes the feeling in the body. However, when the body feels the vibration of a song, of a person's voice that makes you feel so good to finally hear it. This is a way in which Source can bring itself into your direct experience. See, we think that God is not in our direct experience when we're in separation. He's just behind our head. We forgot he was there. We just think he left. He, she, they, we. That universal perspective is always present. Consciousness is everywhere. It is not local. It is aware of you. Source knows your name. Source knows your story. Source was loving you from behind at all times as you worked your way through this world, forgetting that always Source was present in your life, in every moment, and will be in every moment. And if we surrender to the realization that having God in our life, having Source love as a choice to be a peaceful warrior for Source's non-violent army of light warriors, man, like pilots, like babysitters, everything, whatever you are, right? What do you do? What's your business? What's your role in helping and creating and moving matter around and keeping this world spinning in the way that it has been? There may be some areas that you don't want to do anymore, but if you think about the areas where you are quite good, please nurture those areas. Please contemplate those topics and discuss those topics. And that is because this world does need saving. It needs your work, your good works. It'll survive if you don't, but it sure could use the help. And it's a matter of numbers. And each one of you is making a choice right in this moment, like you always have been. Am I going to just live and exist and survive? Keep my head down and stay invisible so I don't get called out in the debrief. Do I wish to do that, or do I wish to stand tall and wear bright colors and fly in a new way and do something different and apply your creative spark of life to the universe so that this place where you live gets to witness another moment of brilliance, another moment of brave humanity, creative humanity, but creating in a way that is expressing and expanding joy. It is not just enough to illuminate, but what we illuminate in the given amount of time that we have to save this world. This world, okay, it's going to change anyway, but it's going to change for the better. But the more that we band together, the more we can make this work out a lot better as we save it, the way that we save it, and how soon we save it. And I don't mean save it, because the Earth's going to be here, and the humans are still going to be here, and most of the species will still be here, not all of them. Some of the species will have gone extinct on their own, because lots have. Some of them did it because of our massive footprint on this world as a species. I mean, the beavers have affected things, but let's talk, impact here. I think the humans, we win the medal. And so that means that we need to carry forth the intention for all well-being, for all beings. That's the job. It's what naturally comes to you when you're feeling that vibration of joy, of the loving vibe. What else would you do? But save the world in your way. To solve the world in your way. To invent the world in a new way. The creativity of the human mind is beyond our imagination, because here's the thing. When you allow yourself to be creative, and you are able to put your emotional experience, you're able to put your emotional experience in the vicinity of this tone. The creative thoughts that occur to you, that appear within your mind, that are your own, are also belonging to others. Can you imagine, if you will, you're building half the pyramid and the angels are building the other half? And it's the angels, if you choose, that is your wish. And it can be other wise beings. Those that are walking around in bodies and those that are just in your head. And we build our part of the pyramid and lean into it and trust that there will be an opposing force to uplift, because we're all building in the same direction, the general direction of up. But let's face it, when we're in miserable bastard syndrome, the pyramid is not going quite straight. We're not always pushing in the direction towards that center point. We're not carrying our weight. Because we think it all sucks. As a matter of fact, we feel that it all sucks. And we're absolutely right at that moment. You're absolutely correct. And thankfully, there's always a way out at any moment. A deep breath. Sooner next time. May your next breath come sooner next time. The breath that you needed. The breath that is the ether of Source. The sound that is the mouth. The tone. The words, the the ideas that come from the direction of sources, answers to this world, sources, solutions to this world. God for president, God for king of the earth, God for king of the galaxy, God for king of the universe. God stands in that place already. But we have to vote God into our hearts. Appoint God the governor of everything. Get it? We don't need saviors of imperfect humans. We need leaders in businesses, in schools, in government, and in all forms and all walks of life. But in the end, those deciders, those actors, make choices based on their emotional state and their own emotional perspective. And as a result, they are filtered through that perspective. And there is always a filter. Even in shadow, as a filter. Even when you step out of your own body to allow a channel being to speak for you, nobody ever left where they were in the first place. There is no space, there is no time. We're all just having a dream. Some dream together, some dream alone. Some dream that they're dreaming, and some dream that it's a nightmare. And nobody ever left the womb. Because the mother and child are one. We only think we get born and separated. And our umbilical cord released. Now you're in belly button land, you know? You got a belly button? Yeah, I got a belly button. Oh, so you went through that? Yeah, I went through that. Holy cow. Did you go through that? No. I came out there. Oh, interesting. Okay, welcome. You know? I mean, what if instead of going that bastard and those stupid people, you thought, yeah, you got a belly button? Yeah, you got a belly button? And they came from the same place. And they were nurtured into this universe. Otherwise, they wouldn't have survived it. There was enough love there. Some form of love came through enough to guide them forward into this not dead state. What says that the Spartan never stopped. Because we don't actually know enough. We don't. The human brain isn't actually big enough to survive because we've cut ourselves off from the knowledge of the forest. We've cut ourselves off from the knowledge of how to survive because we don't know anything about our physical world. We know a drop in the bucket. And what we also notice is that the earth has changed. The life that grows here has changed, and we have been a big part of it, and therefore we will be a bigger solution moving forward than ever before. We will be. Not we have to, we should, eventually. We will do it. Now. Not later. What can you do now? And what can you do now to make a bigger now tomorrow when you'll actually have created more of a structure to evolve a plan that's a little more elaborate, you know, that builds something bigger, that improves something in a bigger way, gathering together multiple elements. And God willing, multiple people. God willing, right? God wants us to cooperate to save the earth, right? What else would God want? You know? Oh, I hope they blow themselves up. That's not what God is. So therefore, I think it's important to recognize that since that is God's fairly lovely monotone personality, you know, and we painted the lower half of the picture all on our own. We painted a beard. We put a speckle on it. We created angry sword and a mean, vengeance and a burning hell and a pitchfork and a creature created that is separate, that is representing all evil and coercion and punishment and banishment. This is a lie. This is a lie told to humanity. It does not exist. And for those who believe in that nightmare, they can experience it. They can make it real in their own nightmares. And those nightmares can go on for a very long time. Until somebody says, this is a dream. This is a dream. The emotional experience that you're having is a dream within a dream inside of a world. You're building a ship in a bottle. But the bottle's floating in the ocean, so what's the difference anyway?